Some Black Monday that was, huh, folks? Markets tried to bounce today after Friday's massive sell-off, with tech leading the rebound, but there are still plenty of warning signs under the surface. IWM is still below its broken rising wedge trend line, yields are pushing higher from a bull pullback, financials and regional banks are facing major tests, oil is sitting in a weekly bull pennant, and the Iran conflict narrative could shift the market quickly if headlines change. Let's sort through what Grok Trade is watching as this week gets started, and quick reminder before we get into the charts. This is not financial advice, not a buy or sell recommendation, and not a reason to force a trade just because markets are moving. Grok Trade is sharing market commentary, technical analysis, chart-based perspective, and trader education, so follow your own plan, manage your risk, and talk with a qualified advisor for guidance specific to your situation.
Yeah, I mean, the tech bounce was definitely flashy today on this June 8th, 2026, but you really have to look at the mechanics underneath the surface.
Oh, absolutely, because, just seeing a bounce on the screen doesn't automatically erase Friday's damage.
Right, exactly.
As a trader, you're not just, cheering for green. You're watching to see if prices actually reclaim those broken levels, or if they just reject right back down.
Yeah, and that brings us right to the small caps, specifically the IWM. It had that broken rising wedge trend line.
Still below it, right?
Still below it, yeah. Even with the tech recovery today, it just couldn't climb back over. So for you listening, the real question this week is, do the small cap bears pounce on this weakness, or can the bulls finally stabilize the chart?
Well, let me challenge that cautious energy for a second, especially when we look at yields and banks, because the U.S. 10-year yield, the U.S. 10Y, is breaking higher from a bull pullback pattern.
Yeah, bond yields are really building on Friday's momentum.
Right, but historically, don't banks love higher yields? So why is the financial sector, XLF, suddenly facing a major test? I know you said it needs to hold its new support trend line while it's still below the 200-day moving average.
So that's a classic textbook view, right? But the mechanics right now are, well, they're completely different. When that 10-year yield spikes so fast, the older bonds those banks already hold on their balance sheets, those just drop in value.
Oh, so it's a balance sheet squeeze, not a profit driver?
Exactly. Plus, depositors are moving their cash to higher-yielding treasuries, so instead of making more money, regional banks get squeezed.
Wow, okay. That makes total sense, and you definitely see it in the charts. Looking at the SPDR, S&P Regional Banking ETF, KRE, it actually formed a shooting star doji today.
Yeah, right after breaking above its symmetrical triangle.
And Bank of America, BAC, basically did the same thing, closing right back inside its symmetrical triangle after a breakout. So are failed breakouts essentially the ultimate trap?
Oh, without a doubt. If KRE falls back inside that triangle, the bulls who chase that breakout move, they become trapped, which gives short sellers the liquidity they need. We call it a bearish death hook. They basically fuel their own sell-off.
A bearish death hook. Yikes. Well, drop a comment and tell Grok Trade what stock or market question you want us to cover this week. Your comments help guide future episodes toward the setups and concerns viewers actually care about. And if these daily market summaries help you stay level-headed when the tape gets messy, hit the like button and subscribe so you can catch the next update.
Yeah, definitely let us know. But zooming out a bit to the economy and the week ahead, we're seeing similar headline risks over in commodities.
For sure. Light crude oil futures, CL, are sitting in a weekly bull pennant. And the United States Oil Fund, USO, is just kind of consolidating on a rising support trend line.
Very tight consolidation there.
Right, and with the Iran conflict narrative, that could shift the market really quickly if headlines change.
Yeah, that geopolitical uncertainty is the undercurrent for everything. And, you're seeing that caution spill over into crypto, too.
Oh, totally. Bitcoin still looks pretty vulnerable after last week's test of the $60,000 level.
Definitely cautious there. But the one that really stands out to me right now is the metals. Gold and silver just failed to show much defensive strength today.
Wait, really? But if geopolitical fears are so high, shouldn't those safe havens be catching a bid?
You would think so, but when the tape gets this messy, investors often get margin calls. They don't sell what they want to sell, they sell what they can sell to raise cash.
Ah, so metals are just being liquidated to cover other stuff?
Exactly, which is why I want to stress to everyone listening, this is a major test week for you to navigate. It is absolutely not an all clear.
Right, which leaves you with a pretty provocative thought to mull over tonight. If geopolitical fears are high, but traditional safe havens like gold and silver are bleeding, are investors mispricing the real risk? Have a great rest of the day. We'll catch you tomorrow as we track small caps, yields, financials, regional banks, oil, Bitcoin, metals, and whether the market can build on today's bounce or rolls back over. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you're a newer trader and want a great foundation with no fluff, start with our free Trading 101 videos at groktrade.com/learn. And if you're ready to reach your full trading potential, whether you're a total beginner or a battle-hardened trader, check out our mentorship program at groktrade.com/trading mentor. All of these links are in the description below. Grok Trade is where traders reach their full potential.